People always complain when I do these. I'm doing it anyway. We're talking about AI and strategy because strategy is how you survive the headlines. Let me ask you something. When you read the news, new model releases, corporate shifts, AI doing this and that, do you feel like you understand why it's happening? And if you're building an AI, do you feel like you're building towards something that's clear that survives those shifts? Or are you just trying not to fall behind? Look, I heard a stat today that 50% of YC startups are outmoded, outdated, dead on arrival by the time the YC cohort finishes because they are being overtaken by model makers. It's a failure of strategy. A lot of the teams that I talk with just say that they're really busy. They're shipping, they've got backlogs full of AI experiments. But if you ask what their strategy is, I get a list, I get fear that they're not going to be catching up enough, that they are doing the wrong things, that the model makers will make them like those 50% of YC startups that just sort of get outmoded within the first few weeks of existence. Deep down, a lot of us are moving fast, but we're not moving with clarity. And that's what I want to talk about in this video, because strategy matters. It's not about AI trends. It's not about tools. It's about how to decide what to build next correctly. In a world where everyone has access to the same tools and models, your only advantage is the clarity of knowing what to apply them to and why. But most teams don't spend the time on this. Let's start with what most teams think strategy is. A list of features, a list of goals, a list of use cases, a list of vague aspirations. I've seen this one. We want to be more data-driven. We want to be AI first. We want to personalize more. But a list is not a strategy. A list is emotion. A strategy is not about what's possible. It's about where you have leverage. And until you identify that, until you start saying no to things that just sound good, you're playing roadmap roulette. So what is strategy for real? I want to go back to Richard Rummelt, one of my favorite authors. He talks about strategy in the book, Good Strategy, Bad Strategy, and he calls out three components. Strategy is diagnosis. What's the real challenge? It's guiding policy. What kind of game are you choosing to play? And it's coherent action. What are you doing now that reinforces your direction? And that's it. It's not a spreadsheet. It's not a tagline. It's not a deck. It's actually a mental model that lets you act with focus under uncertainty, which is exactly the condition we're all in right now with AI. So let's walk through these a little bit. So diagnosis, where are you actually stuck? I think this might be the most skipped step. Most people jump from goal into roadmap and they don't ask what's true about the world we're in right now. Here's what a bad diagnosis looks like. We need to catch up with AI. We need to be more innovative. Our competitors are really doing AI and we need to do something. That's emotional noise. That's not really a diagnosis. A diagnosis is much more precise. Hey, we're losing deals because our data is locked in PDFs and our team spends days just making that data usable. Our users trust us, but our systems make them wait 6 steps to get what they came for. Our biggest bottleneck is actually internal. Review loops kill momentum. You have to name the friction. You have to define the terrain. That's what unlocks leverage. Because once you actually get clear on that, your team is going to stop guessing. They know what matters at that point. So that's diagnosis. Guiding policy is choosing how you play the game. Once you know the terrain, choose your stance. It's not a plan. It is a guiding policy like the rules of engagement in a battle. It says, here's how we're going to move through the landscape and what kind of bets we are willing to make. It's not the same as a roadmap. For example, we'll use AI to reduce internal friction before we try to enhance client-facing surfaces. We don't ship AI features without structured feedback loops built in. We'll focus on one wedge workflow per quarter and then go deep. We won't go broad. You see what we're doing here? You're choosing what game you're not playing. You're being willing to say no, and that's how you choose the kind of game that you are willing to play and that you can win. Most teams are missing the courage to define their boundaries, and that has never mattered more than in the AI era when AI is expanding our options like crazy. People think saying yes to everything makes them innovative, and generally it just makes them incoherent. Okay, that brings me to coherent action. What are we actually building? Now is when Rumelt recommends talking about action. Coherent action says, are the things that we're doing reinforcing each other? That's what coherence means. Are we building sequentially? Are we building a system? Or are these just disconnected artifacts? Suppose you build a summarization AI tool. It saves your sales team 20 minutes a meeting. That leads to better CRM notes. Better notes means better recommendations. The data powers better preparations, which leads to time with clients, which leads to deals, and there's compounding behavior. Small actions become leverage over time when they reinforce. But if you're just building a chatbot here, a dashboard there, a random GPT feature on the back end, you've got lots of AI activity, you don't have strategy. Now, I've mentioned it a few times, but why does this matter right now especially? Because in the AI tool space, tools are getting cheaper and they're compounding like crazy. We've got, I think, 50,000 tools, 70,000 tools. I honestly lose track, and it's growing by a few thousand every month. Capabilities are getting commoditized. Sneeze, and there's a new tool. Everyone has access to the same models. Everyone's plugging in OpenAI or Anthropic or an open source stack or Gemini 2.5, and everyone's worried about the race. What if your job isn't to race? It's to choose where you can win and why your system will keep getting better at what you want to play, the game you're choosing to play. That's what strategy gives you. It gives you focus. It gives you alignment. It gives you the ability to say no to 9 good ideas so you can say yes to the 10th idea that actually compounds. That's how you avoid shipping things that no one uses twice. It's how you avoid your AI team becoming a feature factory. So look, this applies whether you're leading a team or whether you're just on the team or whether you're just a builder, a solo founder. Ask yourself, what terrain are we operating within? Do we know the kind of game we're playing? What's our guiding policy? Are the things we're building actually reinforcing each other sequentially? If you can't answer those clearly, don't take it as failure. Take it as a starting point. Because what you need is probably not more ideas and more tools and more models at this point. It's probably clarity. Clarity is what matters. Clarity is what builds trust. Clarity is where you can invest. It's not about what's novel. It's not about what makes the next big thing. It's about what makes the next correct action easier. That's strategy. It's your real defense in a world where AI headlines continue to dominate the news. Look, if you found this helpful, I have a whole Substack on this. I'll link it in the YouTube. But regardless, think about your AI investment. Think about how you build systems that actually are coherent over time. Strategy is not just a plan. It's a posture. It's how you move with clarity. I guarantee you, if you're actually thinking strategically, you are doing better than 98% of the startups in the space right now. Those startups are going to the wall because they're not strategic. It really matters.